Hello, Marky Dragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life, and working on my new home office here. Got the most important thing set up first, which is my, view. So, I got my office getting set up here. I actually ended up pulling my desk out from the wall so that I can fit tripods back here and do filming, for gameplay stuff and everything. I've got a lot of equipment here. I just haven't figured out how to, put it all together in the perfect combination yet. So, but it's so that I can do a lot of filming in here and, stuff like that. And I love my new home office. Working at home is great. So, purpose for this video is Scott Dodson, guy I know, who is in the video game industry. He, in fact, is, let's see here, his company is Bobber Interactive. And he spoke at GDC and had a really interesting topic. And he asked the question, when does effective free-to-play design become an ethical matter? And, so that caught my attention. And I looked at this more, and he's talking about, he's comparing, let's see, this is a quote from him. This whole concept of freemium play, in my opinion, is the most radical form of entertainment socialism since Obama got elected. I don't think he likes Obama. You've got a whole bunch of one percenters paying for a bunch of freeloaders. Now, what he means by the one percenters paying for the freeloaders is that, in the free-to-play games, typically, most of the people don't pay anything to play them. Most people are playing for free. And the one percenters are the people who are, forking out the dough that actually pay for the operations of the whole thing and for everybody else to play. And it's a really great model if you don't have any money, because you actually get to play games and you can experience the majority of the games, without paying. Not all games can you get the majority, but most of these freemium games you can. I've been able to play a lot of them, quite far into them, without having to pay anything. And in fact, since in the last couple of years, especially this last year, after I no longer became the owner of my previous business, and I've had to tighten my belt straps and really pay attention to exactly what it is that I am paying for, and I've really had to pick and choose what games that I'm playing. Previously, I would buy a lot of games, and sometimes I would buy them and never even open them, and it wasn't because I wanted to keep an unopened box on the shelf. It was because I truly intended to play it and then never got around to it because I had too many other games that I had available to me. So it I know what it's like now. I hadn't known for a long time because I made really good money for a long time, but I know what it's like right now, right here, today, to have to choose where I give my dollars. And so I'm not making any snap decisions or anything. And the reason I'm telling you this story is because there's something in here that he said that really keyed in on that. So they had this debate, and it was with Nick Davidson, and Nick Davidson is from Amazon, and Scott Rigby from Immersive. And so Nick had an opening conversation on the design. He basically says that that it's, you know, the industry looks like it's a gold rush, and that you know, so there's this kind of a warning type thing, and so then here's the meat of it that was really interesting to me, that just really got me thinking, and I'm just going off. I didn't actually see the talk. I am going off of an article from Gamasutra, which I'll link to in the description so you can read this article. It just caught my attention for a couple of reasons. One is because I know Scott, but you know, so let's see. Scott says, we like to think that the ones spending vast sums on these games are sons of Dubai oligarchs, you know, royalty. And if I can get off subject for just a moment, when I was running limousines, when I had a limousine service, I had this prince that he would come into town and he would rent a car for an entire day, and at the end of the day, your tip was at least $100 an hour, and we'd be out for the entire day. You know, it'd be 10 hours, it'd be 15 hours, something like that, throwing money around to everybody all over the place. And that's what he's referring to, is that, you know, some of those people who have an enormous amount of money and just throw it around. Okay, so but we have the data to prove that they are not, and that they probably can't afford to spend what they are spending. This is really interesting. They're saying we're saying our market is suckers. We're going to cast a net that catches as many mentally ill people as we can. That's some really harsh words and a really interesting statement, because, you know, when you think about it, and I think about the kind of customers that come to our store, to markydragon.com, and buy game codes and everything, and I wouldn't say that we deal with a whole lot of people that are you know, mentally ill, but we do deal with some, and I have encountered before when someone seems to be, I'm not trying to put anyone down, but seems to speak very simply, writes very simply, and maybe, you know, that they write as if they have a lower IQ, or our conversation as if they have a lower IQ, and I'm just making a judgment over the telephone over writing. But I have had red flags go up saying, hey, I wonder if this is a kid and that's playing themselves off as an adult, or I wonder if, you know, this is, you know, someone who doesn't know how to make wise choices. And, you know, that's always been a red flag for me. And if someone like that started spending a whole lot of money, you know, if they're buying just 1 or 2 codes a month or something, it's not a big deal. But if they started spending a whole lot of money, I would be definitely giving them a call again and talking to them and trying to figure out, you know, what is the deal here? Are they, you know, is this legit? Are they using someone else's money? Because it can actually look the same way whenever they're using someone else's money, because they don't have the respect for money. And maybe that's what the deal is the respect for money. So I've got my window open. I'm hearing a dog barking. You know, usually it's the sandhill cranes when they come and land in the yard, and they're like 3.5, 4 feet tall. I mean, they're enormous, and they are loud. So, okay, so, you know, Scott goes on to say that I don't think it's always our responsibility to babysit people. My kids are 9 and 12, and they've been playing World of Warcraft since my son was 5 and sitting on my lap. I've never had an unauthorized purchase. And what he's referring to there, I believe, is that that his kids are not making purchases on accident in the games, and that this is kind of like an ethics World of Warcraft kind of has it right. They don't dangle things out there in a manner that could be trickery. And that brings me to the last thing on here, which is that Scott talks about the dangers of making unethical games. He says, the long-term danger, and then this is kind of in quotes, of employing psychologically manipulative design techniques in games is that we are poisoning the well. We're watching a large-scale tragedy of the commons play out on our player bases. Our audience is becoming inured to the viral trickery that we employ to give people what we want them to do. For example, a good UX design, which I believe is like the interface that you of how you control your game or play. So a good UX design, find the button the user is most likely to press, and make it as large and as central and green as possible. Green is actually a trigger color. So is red for different things. One is for drawing the eye. Another one is for drawing action and everything. And that gets into a whole another marketing thing. It's a lot of stuff that I've studied. So what social games designer do is to put the button that you want them to press and make it, or put the button, oh goodness. So what social game designers do is put the button you want to press and make it as small and gray and uninviting, and make the button that shares your whole friend feed that you just passed level 2 of the tutorial. And he says, we've just boiled the frog. So he's talking about things like, have you been tricked on Facebook? Have you been, there was this, I think it was Clout on Facebook, that all of a sudden I got 1 billion different people sending me things in Clout that was through a Facebook plugin that basically it really was kind of social engineering, and it kind of tricked people into thinking, here's what you're going to get. And then it was massively invasive in spamming all of your friends. And I kept getting these for a long time, and I think they've changed it some, because I still get some sometimes, but not to the extent that I was before. And, so I think about this, and what he's saying is, let's say that I'm playing a game. The main game I've been playing lately is World of Tanks. Okay, let's say that the button that you hit the most is probably your mouse button to fire, but on screen, the button you hit the most is probably battle, so that you're going into the next round, or it's research, where you're going to look at your tank and you're going to see how to design new things and everything. And so those buttons right there, if they were to make those smaller and gray and not as appealing to the eye and not as catchy, then you'd have to search around for them a bit to do what you wanted to do. But the buy gold button would be massive and in your face, and or it would replace those other buttons that are centrally located, that are easy for you to use. And if they did that, then people would end up on accident at the store to buy gold a lot. And that would get some more sales. But would you feel tricked into that? So I'm seeing something out here, and I just want to share it with you. Look at this. This is the kind of stuff I got going on out here. Whole bunch of baby ducks. I don't know where Mama is. I don't see her anywhere. So, but they're out here. We got some sort of other, maybe that's an egret that is fishing out there. And so, just wanted to share that as I saw them going by out here. I love the wildlife that I have here and everything. Uh, it it's pretty cool. You know, I thought that moving here we wouldn't have this because we didn't have forest like I had at my last place. But it's turned out to be a completely different type of wildlife. And in fact, we have a massive amount of frogs here. We had a giant turtle that looked like it was about 10 pounds I watched swimming by yesterday and stuff. So, anyway, so Scott is talking about these dangers that if we keep tricking people, that people are going to shy away from the games. And there's a lot of psychology that goes into a lot of these games, and there is a lot of things that they employ that equal different things. Such as him talking about the green button. It's kind of an action color, and so these are things that you have to be careful of, because if you're not careful of them, people feel scammed, they feel abused, they feel taken advantage of, or they feel like that the game publisher thinks that they're stupid. And so I tend for myself that when I come across something like that, that I turn the other way and run. And in my business experience is that you don't do things like that. You keep on a good, honest path that is slower and steady, because that's what's going to be required to get to the end. When you use trickery, or you use tactics that are unethical, you may get a big bang right away of sales and stuff, but people burn out on that. And when they burn out, they don't come back. And so, with all my sales stuff, we don't put out there things that are, I would never send out a newsletter that like tricks people. I try and be very, very honest with the newsletters and stuff like, hey, here's something cool we found. By the way, we want to sell more of these and we have them. You can click here if you want them. Instead of it'd be a bait and switch. Saying, hey, get the latest WoW, version for free, and just click here. And when they go there, it ends up to be in a page where, I don't know, there is something there for free, but it's not what they were expecting, and we're trying to sell them the latest version of WoW. It would get a lot of traffic there, and it would get more sales. This is true. But you gain a reputation of being evil. That's what it is. It's being evil. And so, anyway, that's my thoughts on it. And thanks, Alexandra, for forwarding me that link overnight. That was pretty interesting. I wish that I was there at GDC this year to, see discussions like this, or maybe even have filmed an interview. But anyway, so beyond that, that's the end of that subject. So now that I'm getting my office rearranged here, I am going to be working on a lot more gameplay and a lot more stuff that is, we're going to film more interviews and everything, and just getting a whole studio set up in here so that I can film a lot of things in here, and so that I can show things on the screen while I'm filming live and everything. Oh, and speaking of live, so I got my permissions for live streaming on YouTube, and as soon as I've got my office in order, which that's going to take a few more days, it's a disaster, then I will start working on my live streaming to YouTube. And unfortunately, it has a limitation, which they're only going to allow me to stream at the beginning at 380p, I think that's what 380p, 360p. It's like the lowest setting you could possibly have, and and I'm not sure why that is that they only allow that, but what they say is that you've got to prove quality before on your part before you do. Oh, I hear my alarm going off. Before you do, you get up into the higher bandwidth types like 720p or 1080p, and so. My thoughts are, and you can give me some feedback on this, is that I will, while I'm filming in my office, I'll live stream from another camera. So I've got like this other camera over here, which you can see my setup here. I've got cameras. I've got multiple cameras. I've got a webcam here. I've got my microphone and everything, and I'm actually getting set up to where I'll have, multiple different cameras here in the office. And so I would be able to take just one fixed camera and allow it to pick up the live stream where I was doing the actual recordings for these videos on, actually recording them and then prepping them for episodes on the channel. And I think that would be kind of interesting, and in YouTube it does have an ability for people to give feedback right off the bat, and so the live, it'd be like running a live show and then presenting the taped version later on the channel, and and I have some other options on whether or not I keep whether or not it's just live streams and it's done, it's gone, or whether or not it stays up there and people can watch it later. And I'm kind of leaning toward, since a lot of the live streams will be of me filming other segments like this one, that I will do probably those will be deleted immediately as soon as they're done. It'd be like a live event. It'd be like watching live television. And then other events where we're doing something that is live streaming that may not be content for an actual segment at a later time, then we'll probably allow those to stay up. So I do have a lot of controls over that and everything, and what I'm most looking forward to, what I liked most about Twitch, was I was able to broadcast live there and get the feedback from all of you, and it sometimes changed the flow of the episode, seeing your feedback and everything, allowing you to participate in whatever it was I was recording, and so that was to me a very good thing, and I'm looking forward to that again. So anyway, that is something for the future. Hopefully in a couple of weeks we'll be putting up the first live stream. Before then it'll be just some private testing and everything, and we've got a lot of good games coming up. So I've got War Z coming up on Monday, and I don't know what time it releases on Monday, how long it'll take to get up and running and everything, but Monday is when I should have my copy. And then also Monday my dad is coming into town, and so expect to see him in some of my videos over the next couple of weeks. He'll be here for about 10 days, and including we're going to one of the amusement parks. It's one of the great things about living here near Tampa, is that there's all the amusement parks. So anyway, thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, comments, or whatever, feel free to send them to me in YouTube, in the messaging system. I'm Marky Dragon. Take care.